Yes, guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel for 6 things that we learned from Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. I know it's a couple of days now after the game. I was enjoying myself this weekend, had a few beers, watched the Liverpool game, watched the 3 o'clock kickoffs, into the Chelsea, then into the rugby and the UFC. So I needed yesterday to recover. I'm sure you guys can absolutely understand that. Before we talk about the game, I want to point you guys in the direction of the top link in the description to the Telegram. We're still on the way to 5,000 followers in the Telegram group. As soon as we do, I'm giving one of you lucky lot 500 quid. It's as simple as that. So make sure you're following. Link at the top of the description. Chelsea 2, Arsenal 2. I don't know if you guys watched the videos that I posted last week, but I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure in those videos I was talking about Sanchez kicking and distribution. And if it wasn't for that, Chelsea would have ended up beating Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. First things first, before we get into the boxes in the 6 things we learned video, credit to Pochettino, who I think in this game showed that we are starting now to see patterns of play. He's starting to understand how each game is going to be very different against different sides that are going to come to Stamford Bridge, or we're going to go to their ground, and play in different ways, line up in different ways. And I think tactically, Pochettino, for a good 70 minutes of the game, absolutely had the better of Mikel Arteta, an Arsenal team who are still unbeaten. They were brilliant last season. They've been very good again this year. And for a Chelsea team who are supposedly rubbish, everyone is still looking at us, laughing, joking, look at the league position. They're never going to play in Europe again. What I saw in this game against Arsenal, for the majority of it, apart from when we started conceding flipping goals left, right and centre again in the last 15, I think Chelsea are back. And I'm going to make that a bold statement. And as this week goes on before the Brentford game, we're going to talk about that a lot more with Big Harrison, who is currently to my left. Say hello, Harry.
Hello, everyone.
You probably can't hear that because we've got good new microphones now. But I was watching that game and I was proud of Chelsea. When I was looking at the fight, the determination of all of those players out there, considering a lot of them are still incredibly young. You got Malo Gusto, a 19-year-old, playing up against Martinelli, one of the most explosive, fast, tricky wingers in the league. You've also got Cucurella playing in at left-back against Bukayo Saka, who basically didn't show up in West London until there was about 20 minutes left to play. Saw a couple of tweets from people at half-time saying that Saka hadn't arrived, and then, of course, he puts in that magnificent cross that Trossard puts in the back of the net to make it 2-2. And then by the end of the game, we're thinking, are we trying to hold on here? Or have we really been that good today that we can actually go ahead and win it? And I think, to be honest, by the end of it, I wanted to take a point. I was happy with a point. I'm still happy with a point. I'm happy with the performance. And overall, the direction that Chelsea are heading in, with Pochettino at the helm, I think we're moving in the right direction. So first things first, we begin with Mr. 2 in 2. Cole Palmer is the opening green box of this video. If we'd have won, I'd have tried to figure out somebody for a blue box, but because we didn't, we're going to keep it green today and keep that blue box as lucrative as we possibly can for the season. Sterling, the only person with one so far. For the Burnley game, Cole Palmer, excellent. The penalty, once again, there's a bit of ambiguity about that penalty. The ball comes in and he heads it, I think it was against Saliba's arm. And then you've got certain defenders coming out, John Terry, saying, well, don't really like this one. I don't really think it's very fair on the defender. And then you've got everybody else saying, the modern game is the modern game. This is a penalty. And when I was watching it live, don't know if it's because I was surrounded by a few Arsenal fans as well. So I was trying to be as balanced as I could be whilst drinking copious amounts of beers. But I wasn't sure if I would have given that as a pen. Cole Palmer steps up after a bit of a wait from VAR and he puts it in the back of the net. And I think what I love about Cole Palmer right now is that when he goes from City, where he's getting bit part minutes, he's coming on, he's looking good, he's scoring a few good goals in some big games, particularly in European games and Community Shield. But what I like about Palmer is how the game seems to slow down to his pace. Even against such quality opposition, Cole Palmer knows where to be, knows where to move. There was also a great chance that he had, probably the best opportunity that we made in the game, and he could have made it 2-0. Gets the shot away early, Raya gets down, it probably wouldn't have gone in if it was on target, but it drifts past the post. He's looking to make things happen, and I think at the moment what we're seeing with this new front line that Pochettino is choosing, we have Mudryk in there again, Chelsea is starting to look very dynamic. And we didn't start Nicholas Jackson in this game, which was a big surprise to me. When I looked at the starting 11, I wasn't sure. I said to Harry, I said to all the other boys, I'm like, I don't like this. I did not want to see what I saw. And it turns out that Pochettino was right. We dominated large swathes of the game. We were 2-0 up and we threw it away. But we're going to stick with a positive theme here. Moving into Malo Gusto, box number 2. What I like about Gusto is no nonsense. And again, I keep bringing up the age because it's so easy to critique Chelsea players and say, oh yeah, well, they're young and we should have bought older players. That's what I do when we're getting beat. At the moment, we are starting to see some of these new signings, even the young ones, coming through and owning the positions that they've been put in. When I looked at Gusto at right back, I was like, wanted Reece in there. I think Reece James is the best right back in world football when he's fit, but not rushing him in. Having Gusto, once again, like we said, up against Martinelli, one of the best wingers in the Premier League, and he just absolutely pocketed him for large majorities of the game. He got forward as well, had a good chance that he puts over the bar. Malo Gusto, very impressive. And box number 3 is also Marc Cucurella. This guy, once again, he seems to be showing up now. And I don't know if it was the fact that maybe joining Chelsea last year from Brighton, having loads of different managers coming in, new managers coming in, coming out, players constantly chopping and changing in Graham Potter teams where he didn't really know what he was doing. Probably a good tactical manager, but for Chelsea, he couldn't really manage anything. Cucurella's the new boy. He's underperforming. And this season, there's not really been that many opportunities for him. But I think what we're seeing right now from Pochettino is Chelsea know what we're doing when we're going out there. And seemingly, all of the players that played in that game against Arsenal at the weekend, they just seem to want to be out there. And I think with Cucurella, at times last season, we're looking at him and we're thinking, who the bloody hell are you? Like, what are you doing? And how did we spend 60-odd million quid to sign you? He was magnificent again in this game against Arsenal. And I say that it's frustrating that we got a draw because when you're 2-0 up and you're playing not even perfectly, but we're playing very well and containing the game, managing the game at our pace. When we concede those 2 late goals, it does make you wonder. But I do think Cucurella, once more, with Chilwell going to be out for a while, Pochettino clearly doesn't fancy Maatsen as a left-back, I think this is going to work. And when you've got Gusto, Chilwell there, 2 not first-choice fullbacks, and you put in a performance like that, you've got to give credit where credit is due. We move into box number 4. Now, did he mean it? Didn't he mean it? I genuinely was flabbergasted. When Mudryk puts that ball in the back of the net at the beginning of the second half, it becomes 2-0 to Chelsea. I didn't know what to say. I couldn't believe the ball had gone in. Couldn't believe he finally gets himself a goal at Stamford Bridge. And it just so happened to be against the club that was so desperate to sign him in January, and then the fans will tell you, we didn't want him anyway. Mudryk puts the ball in the back of the net. There's different angles that you can look at, and I've not seen a single one where he actually looks at the goalkeeper. But then after the game, he comes out and he says, well, the Chelsea goalkeeping coach told me to keep an eye on Raya because he's quite often in precarious positions in and around the box, trying to anticipate where the ball's going to go in. Raya anticipates that Mudryk is putting a cross in, and it just so happens to float right over his head into the bottom corner of the net. I don't think Mudryk meant this for 1 second, but you can see the relief on his face when he goes over to the Chelsea fans there. We're 2-0 up. It feels as though it was a turning point for Chelsea. When you think about the jokes that have been told about Mudryk, how people have slated him, belittled him, said that, well, aren't Arsenal lucky that he didn't go there? When Chelsea had beaten Arsenal 2-0 at Stamford Bridge, and Mudryk's the guy to score that goal, not only did I not know what to say, but in my head, I'm thinking, this is the turning point we've been waiting for. This is the moment after all of these horrible times since Abramovich lost the club. We've had absolute scrutiny from left, right and centre because performances have been bad. We spent loads of money. Have we bought the right players? When Mudryk scored that, that's when it felt to me like Chelsea were back. And I think overall, we're seeing a lot more from Mudryk. Not just getting forward and scoring goals, which he's now done against Fulham and Arsenal, and for Ukraine in the week last week too, but his work rate is better. Positionally, he's getting back and working more for the team. I want to see a lot more from him still in the final third. Take away the fluky goal, and you'd want more from your winger, but I absolutely think Mudryk is heading in the right direction. Moving into a man who has moved beyond the right direction this season. He's become, in my opinion, Pochettino's most important player right now for what he brings to the team. Conor Gallagher is box number 5, operating as Chelsea's captain because all of our other captains are always bloody injured. This guy just does not stop running. He is absolutely brilliant. Not only that, but he's now finding himself in pockets of space behind the lines of the Arsenal defenders and midfielders and trying to make those killer passes. He nearly got the assist for that Palmer potential second goal. And what I love about Gallagher is that despite so many rumours about he might go here, he might go there, he was on loan at Palace, he comes back, gets a lot of minutes last season, but then Chelsea has seemingly just wanted to shove him out the door in the summer. This guy's just knuckled down. He's always made it clear that he wants to be a Chelsea player. You see him coming out in interviews after the game just saying, all I want to do is help Chelsea move up the table. He's taken that captain's armband, and since Gallagher's become the captain, by the way, on the field, Chelsea have been much better. And I'm not saying it's just about Gallagher, because I think there's credit that needs to go here to a lot of people, to the way that Chelsea is starting to turn things around. And it's making me optimistic. I'm excited again. And I think with Gallagher, I'm struggling to see right now how Gallagher could possibly lose his place. There's 2 other £100 million players in there that are definitely not going to lose their place. So how does Romeo Lavia get in this team? Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments down below. I know we didn't win, and you're probably thinking, Benson, come on. We drew 2-2. We should have won. We should have seen the game out. We need to get better with in-game management of a lead. It was Arsenal. Sanchez is box number 6, and it is a red. I still think that maybe even the second goal, Sanchez should do better, but he's about 6 foot flipping 94. So no wonder he can't really get down. Trossard is literally less than 6 yards out from the goal. He buries it and makes it 2-2. That pass to Declan Rice, what the bloody hell are you doing, mate? And I said it before the game in 2 separate videos. We have got to be perfect when it comes to how we distribute from the back. And lo and behold, he gives it to another £100 million player. A former Chelsea Academy boy, Declan Rice, puts Arsenal back into the game, much to the disbelief of the whole of Stamford Bridge. Even Arsenal fans weren't expecting that one. They thought they put in the worst performance they have all season. Maybe they did. But at this level, it is moments like that from a goalkeeper who all season long I've been flip-flopping backward and forward. Is he good enough for Chelsea? Is he not good enough for Chelsea? In moments like that, you have to ask the question again. Maybe I've been harsh at times. I don't really think I have. I've not really been that impressed with him at all, as of yet, apart from a couple of games where all round we were very good. Sanchez doesn't make that mistake. I don't think Arsenal get anything from that game. And it is such a big mistake. The game finishes 2-2. At this point, I think we are moving in a very good direction. We've got Brentford at the weekend. There's going to be another 3 More Points podcast coming out. The goal this week is 7 videos in 7 days. And you know what? I'm even going to say it now. You can hold me to it this time, all right? Because when I say I'm back now, I actually mean it. I'm back in bloody business. If you enjoyed this 6 Things We Learnt video, hit the like on it. Subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. And as always, let me know the 6 things that you learnt down in the comments below. Come on, you Blues.